Welcome back, brothers and sisters. Braden, Tim, Second Legacy, and thank you for stopping by. This is the place where we take all the happenings of the 2A day, run it through our sarcasm humor meter, and send it right back out for some delicious analysis that you can hand out with pride. This is going to be an episode you're going to love so much because CNN did a dumb thing, and me and Tim are here ready right below them to catch them as they fall into the alligator pit. Now, make sure, if you guys are enjoying this content, you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn the notification bell on. And with that, Tim, I brought Peak Stupid for you. I did.
Well, CNN, I think that's like a prerequisite to get a job there. You have to be like off the chart on the stupid scale.
You do? I mean, that's true. That's true. Yeah. And I have to give a shout out to one of my peeps over on my channel. All right. And the reason why, one of the viewers, he specifically said, this is DJ, I see you. He specifically said, I can't wait until you and Tim tear this apart together tomorrow. So, we got to set the bar really high. So yeah. We saw it. We're ready. We're here.
We're all about the Communist News Network. So see, I got the word communist in early today.
There's the commie. We're feeling spicy already. I love it so much. Well, Tim, let me set this up a little bit because I've got to bring you into the fold here. If you guys are not familiar, beautiful people of the Second Legacy, the left has this thing. It's a very weird thing about the border's not a big deal. It's not an open border. But when it comes to guns going down into Mexico, it is an open border. So it's kind of like this very weird, like we don't have a problem on the one side, but we do have a problem on the other side because we want gun control on this side, but we don't care about immigration on the other. But then they say things like what I'm about to show you, because the person that is being interviewed here is an author of a book called Exit Wounds, How Guns Influence Mexico, Tim. That's really the name of the book. So why don't we get into this? And you just tell me when something stands out to you, okay? I got 3 clips for you because I like you so much on a Thursday morning. So this is number 1.
So explain, if you will, what the role, American guns plays in this sort of cycle of violence.
Without the guns, we wouldn't be getting so many drugs and we wouldn't be seeing so many migrants and asylum seekers fleeing the violence, because violence in Mexico is primarily caused by guns that come from the United States. Mexico has very strict gun laws, only 2 gun shops in the entire country, but the entire border, on the other side of the border in Arizona and Texas, you have thousands of gun dealerships, and it is very easy to buy very powerful guns that organized crime groups in Mexico want.
And that's just the appetizer.
Yeah. So I love that.
Stands out first?
It's the guns. Hashtag it's the guns.
It's the effing
guns. It's the American
even.
Guns coming across the border. Notice how they never talk about criminals. Now, I've been to Mexico. I've been to one of the 2 gun stores. And the problem there, the cartels, they won't even load. I went down to see the Aguila plant, which manufactures ammunition, mispronounced many times here in the United States as Aguila and all this other stuff. But it's Aguila, Spanish for eagle. And they...
Wow, knowledge drop.
I know, right? People always want to correct me. What are you talking about? It's not pronounced that way. I'm like, yeah, actually it is. But anyway, so they won't even load by 39 cartridges, 7.62 by 39, 5.45 by 39. Right. And the reason being is because they're getting machine guns from other sources. The Chinese flood AKs into Mexico. South America floods guns into Mexico. And yes, some American guns trickle down from the border, but it's not an American gun problem. It's not even a gun problem. It's a criminal problem. The cartels were going to do drug dealing regardless of where they get their guns from. If we just suddenly we snapped our fingers and shut the border off tomorrow and not a single gun illegally came across that border, guess who would still have guns? The cartels, who have more money than the frickin' government of Mexico. You idiots. It's like...
There it is.
Seriously, dude. It's the American guns. I mean, we wouldn't have people fleeing to the United States from Mexico if it wasn't for the American guns. No, they're fleeing to Mexico because of the Mexican cartels. Dumbass.
Damn.
It's like... Well, seriously.
That was the best opener. No, that was beautiful. But I do have to correct you a little bit, because obviously you weren't listening, Tim. She just told us on CNN, so it's official, that if the guns didn't exist,
American
guns,
they
wouldn't make drugs.
Yeah, if American guns didn't exist.
American guns didn't exist. That's right. American guns didn't exist. They wouldn't make drugs.
Yeah.
You didn't hear her just say that? It's so easy because, after all, that's why they make the drugs, is because the guns, you have to feed them that. So the guns run on two things. A lot of people think just freedom seeds, but they actually also run on drugs.
Yeah.
So you have to have an ecosystem to feed the guns themselves, the American ones, because that's how they work. It's like a little battery.
And
that's exactly
the
how it
cycle
works.
of life for a firearm is quite lengthy, because once the firearm's born, it has to learn to walk, and then it has to learn how to illegally immigrate across the United States-Mexico border.
Exactly.
You know, these guns, it takes them a long time, so we got to catch them. You know what? Abortions for guns. That will do it. Oh, that's what they're proposing. Never mind.
It's genius. That's genius.
These
But
people are so dumb,
it's
dude.
so good.
It's
so simple. And this is just the first segment. This is just the first clip.
infuriating.
But, oh, dude, just wait. I got two more that are going to just...
You're responsible for your drug
stack on each
problem.
other.
Yeah.
That's right. Exactly. The guns are. Also, if the guns didn't exist, Tim, no one would want to leave a third world country and come to the greatest country on earth, because obviously, if there were no guns, then no one would want to leave living in a jungle where the per capita income is like $1 a day.
Right.
No one would leave that,
Right.
because it's paradise.
And look, if
But
we just shut off the
guns.
flow of American guns, nobody else's, just American guns, the cartels would give up the drug trade, give up the billions, and open lemonade stands all throughout Mexico. All the Mexican illegals that had illegally immigrated in the United States would suddenly go back south. There would be cats and dogs living together. It would be pure utopia. It's the guns. Dang it.
It is the guns.
They finally made a clear case for why we shouldn't have. I just don't.
I personally like the lemonade stands idea. I'm on board with the lemonade stands idea. I bet it would be good. You know what? I bet if you threw some tahini on there, if you guys have never had tahini smoked salt, it's the greatest thing ever. But the last thing I want to touch on this, Tim, and just a little weird. She's saying that in a gun control state, there's too many guns. Okay, let's just go down that road. So the problem is American gun owners and American gun shops who sell guns with the NICS background check system, where you cannot buy the gun for somebody else because that's called a felony. It's called a straw purchase. You can't sell guns across the border. That's also that's smuggling. That's trafficking. That's against the federal law. It's this entire little sentence that she just said is a complete exercise in how to violate multiple federal and international laws. But it's the guns.
Yep, it's the guns.
The guns, stupid. It's so easy. But hey, that's the entree.
All we got to do is just stop the
appetizer.
flow of American guns. It's the American guns that are the problem. You know, they're coming from a systemically racist country, and they're raised incorrectly. That's why we need to abort guns early on. And then then they're illegally immigrating across the southern border, and then they're screwing up the Mexican economy, and that's what's causing all the Mexicans to run north with all the drugs on their back. They're just trying to get away from an unfriendly environment to a friendly environment where the guns are coming. Wait a minute. The guns are the problem, and the guns are coming south. They're going north to where the guns are actually coming. Whoa.
Man. Weird.
I don't know how this works, man.
I'll tell you.
This is some mathematician stuff, because there's something really weird. I can't figure this out. It makes no sense. Why would you run to the source of the guns? These evil, systemically racist guns.
That is totally valid. You know what we should do, though? We should bring the next layer of stupid of this parfait.
Okay, let's do that.
So this is number 2.
What do you think that most Americans don't understand about this whole situation now that you've studied? Because you talk about how this militarization, actually enriches the cartels. That struck me as a fascinating point.
That's a very important issue. We think that if we build a bigger wall or a longer wall or send the troops to the border, we will prevent people from coming, and we will keep violence on the other side of the border. But that violence is created by our own tools, by the guns we produce and make in this country. So the more we militarize the border, the more difficult it is for both migrants to reach safety, but also it increases the profits of organized crime groups who compete for these diminishing routes to take.
So because you require more and more professional militarized cartels to break through.
Exactly, and more powerful weapons.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense. Boy, it's all our fault. I mean, if we try to stop the flow of illegal immigration, it's our fault. We're causing the cartels to arm up. Oh, and by the way, sweetie, you didn't address the point that if we lock down the border, you're talking about the illegals can't come across. Well, does that also mean the guns can't go the other way?
Stop it.
I mean, but God. gosh, dude. This woman must have got up in the morning and her husband beat her violently over the head with a stick just to make sure the stupid was well seated in her brain, or what's left of what was once a brain, so she could go into this interview and just spout stupid stuff. Well, the whole reason the cartels are violent is because of you, America. It's your guns coming across the border, and then you militarize the border to stop the flow of illegals going north, but you don't stop the flow of illegal guns going south, and it's just making the whole situation worse. How dare you try to protect yourself? Just tear the border down and let us come north.
That's what you went with? You went with beating a stick over the head? You couldn't have gone with like some stupid toast or like some stupid eggs? You couldn't have just gone with that, honey. Yeah. Thump.
Like, hey, honey, here's some toast.
Well,
like, oh, stupid's found. Way home, and now you can go do your CNN interview. I don't know. We're not advocating for violence against women. I'm just joking. But
no, I'm advocating for stupid now,
if I ever run for office, they're going to make ads like they have Brandon Herrera. Like I cracked a joke about beating women, and Mac doesn't like women. No, I love women.
Oh, that's true.
And protect them.
Oh, see, now we're just bigging. Now we're just digging a hole.
God bless women. What would the world be without them? Oh, there wouldn't be. Never mind. Anyway,
nothing. Actually, anyway, different thing. Hey, I have a quick question.
Yes.
Something I just pointed out. I just find this fascinating. So the premise here is that, excuse me, I'm allergic to the dumb. The American border is being militarized and being sealed off, right? So that's what the catalyst of the issue is here. So it's not effective. Walls don't work. Sealing borders doesn't work, except for her next sentence where she says, and because we're sealing the borders, we're making it harder for asylum seekers to go across the entire border. So they've got to go to a certain few areas. And then they have to use very diminished routes, which is translated into fewer ways in. So you get more security in those areas. So the cartels need more guns. Are you trying to prove our point or your point? Like, what are we going for here?
Stupid Americans. Everything you do makes the situation worse. There's no right answer here. You're just stupid Americans. You seal the border, and by doing that, you narrow the number of routes across the border, and therefore that causes the cartels to become more violent and need more guns. You see, you're making the situation worse. Just open the border.
Just have no wall. Exactly, that's the point. Have no wall, have no border entry, have no points, no national sovereignty. That way we can all walk across easily, because that won't make guns go south any further.
Right. And there's no likelihood of terrorists getting into the country and hijacking an airplane and flying it into the building. That's absurd. Who would do something like that?
That's never happened. That's never happened before. Well, I think we've thoroughly set down. We're digestion now. So it's time for dessert. After everything that we just went through, Tim, this is the most insane 4 minutes I've seen on CNN in a minute when it comes to guns. But this is number 3. Listen to what she has to say to sum this all up.
So it feels like there are all kinds of reasons to have stronger gun laws in the United States. But do you think it's fair to say that if you had stronger, background checks and all that kind of stuff, it would also make a big difference in terms of the violence and the entire way in which the border has become so militarized, so pervaded by gangs and cartels?
Stronger gun laws would help. Anything that increases gun safety in the US would help. However, I do not think that we can only use laws to solve this problem, because as long as there is demand for guns in the United States, there will be supply. This is how illicit economies work. That said, if we made it more difficult for organized crime groups to get a hand of truckloads of ammunition in Texas or Arizona, and ammunition sales are even less regulated or not regulated entirely compared to guns, then there would be fewer police officers killed in Mexico. There would be less insecurity in Mexico. So there is a direct connection.
I never knew the United States was the only source of guns and ammunition in the world. Damn,
you didn't know?
I never knew this. Well, and all the gun laws, the 20-some thousand gun laws we have on the books, has that made the situation better or worse in Mexico? Because as far as my recollection is, I went on my honeymoon in Mexico, and that was 16 years ago. And it was a pretty darn nice place. Places you can't even go to now because they're more violent. And you're telling me that our guns have made Mexico more violent? And just in recent time, as the same time that all these 20,000 gun laws are coming more and more onto the books. I mean, hell, we just got the Safer Communities Act. I mean, doesn't that make the Mexican safer communities too? Make the Mexican community safer? It's just like, what in the world is she talking about? She's saying, it would just be all happy joy in Mexico if we could just stop guns. being manufactured and sold in the United States. And how is the next background check helping you out there, sweetheart? Because that was done in the 1990s. And isn't violent crime skyrocketing down in Mexico? 20,000 gun laws passed over the last 3 or 4 decades. And how's that working for you in Mexico? So you're telling me more gun laws equal less crime in Mexico? Where's the receipts on that one, sweetheart? Because it seems to be going the opposite way.
Because background checks.
Yeah. Oh, we just need universal background checks, and then when that doesn't change anything, then we just need, they're inching towards, we just need to ban guns. But then she's saying, let's say American guns and ammunition go completely away. Like there's a nuclear strike and America's just off the map. We're not even a factor anymore. What, you telling me there's no more guns going to Mexico? There's not a great big world out there?
Yeah. No.
Flat or round or whatever it may be. It's like
Russia.
Yeah, right. I mean, China is one of the largest proliferators of small arms in the world. So is Russia. And guess what the weapons of choice down south are? AKs, which is why
larger caliber.
Yeah, which is why Aguila won't manufacture by 39 because they know that the Mexican cartels will raid their plants and their trucks. They're trying to ship it out of the country, so they won't even make it.
It's funny you mentioned that. You mean like this story, number 4, that I popped up and I was ready for you to reference that? Look at that. Millions of rounds of ammo stolen from U.S. bound trucks on Mexican highway.
Yeah, well, see? But I learned that years ago when I was in Mexico, right? Yep. Because the cartels will look, they have more money than the frickin' government. And you're telling me that American guns is it American guns that are causing Russia to invade Ukraine? Is it American guns that cause the Palestinians attack Israel and Israel attack? I mean, it's all American guns doing this? Well, heck, why didn't I know this?
Dude, exactly.
And
if we just hadn't made those guns, cocaine wouldn't have been invented.
And here I was thinking the AK-47, the RPG, and then the PKM, those were all American weapons. I didn't know they
oh, man, awkward. They're not.
Oh, they're not? Oh, you mean they're coming from another source somewhere else on the planet that isn't the United States? Odd. Weird. How would that happen? God, these people.
That is
they
odd.
have to be so dumb to even read these stories, to listen to these morons run their mouths on the internet. It's just infuriating. Like,
and you also have to be immune to it when you watch it all the time. Because, anyway. Well, I love me some economics. So my favorite thing that she said right there is where she undermined every point that she made this entire thing, and she goes, well, face it, laws won't do it. And as we know, with illicit economies, when there's demand, there's going to be supply. I heard that, and I was like, what did I just watch for 3 minutes then?
Because what did she talk about for the first couple of clips? Well, we need additional gun laws because that would certainly help. And then she wraps up the segment by saying, well, gun laws won't do anything because it's an illicit market. And
because supply and demand.
Go somewhere else and get the weapons. No. It's not like billions of dollars can't get you any weapon on the planet Earth you want. Hards.
It's weird. Oh. No, not the hard R.
I know.
Oh,
bleep that one down. Not politically correct. The Gen X in me came out.
Yeah,
but I mean, seriously,
can't do that one.
She is not all there. So what else do you call it?
I call it brown educated professor. That's what I call it. I've been overeducated out of common sense,
I guess. Well, anyway, wow, guys, you know what? I guess we're just going to leave it there because how else do you address this kind of stupid? She basically unwound her whole arguments herself with the last video clip we showed you guys. So our job was done for us by her. Let us know what you think in the comments. Do you think it's American guns causing the cartels to be violent and import drugs? They're just trying to do the right thing by the Mexican population, folks. They think they can stop the flow of guns by introducing drugs and illegals into our country. They're the victims. Let us know what you think in the comments. Thanks for watching. We'll talk to you guys soon.